Hi everyone, this is Alien Unicorn and this is my first video. Excuse me if this doesn't sound the best. I'm not used to being on camera or microphone, but I wanted to do a channel which talks about our feelings and emotions and situations we all probably have been through. So this first video I want to get started on is going to be talking about low self-esteem and poverty and how they can go together. I grew up very below the poverty line or at the poverty line like a lot of other people in America, and I did not realize how bad it affected my self-esteem until I've gotten much older. Now granted, a lot of my issues that I'm still healing from didn't all come from poverty. It was other issues as well, but poverty played a huge part in a lot of the issues in my family's life, because money is such a stress for so many families, and when you don't have money, it causes people to lash out in frustration. It causes people to become angry and upset. So of course, I was younger. I didn't realize we were really poor until I started school, and of course when I started school I started seeing kids, wearing different clothes. Their clothes were a little more eventful, their clothes were more name brand, they were more prettier, they were nicer fitting, and my clothes were a little more plain. They weren't really name brand, they're just kind of bland shoes, like just plain white or black shoes with really no name on it. They were just plain shirt or pants, and they were not really the best fitting, because when we went shopping we had to go to bargain or discount stores where the clothes really weren't the greatest clothes, or they were the name brand clothes that didn't get made that nice, so they decided to just sell them for a knockoff cheap price. And of course, kids can be very mean when you go to school, and they can be like, well, your clothes are ugly, your clothes aren't beautiful, and they can, rub in your face how much more their clothes cost and how better their stuff was compared to yours. And that's where the low self-esteem hit. And I know there's a lot of other people who go through the same thing, people making fun of their clothes, making fun of their shoes, and not having the best clothes or the best shoes, and you kind of have to wear and make do with what you have. And same with school supplies. People can afford the higher end school supplies, while you have to kind of settle for, the cheaper things that was given. Now, don't get me wrong, I was always grateful for what I got and what I had, because it was better than having nothing at all. But I'd be lying if I didn't say that I felt sad when I felt less than, or was made to feel less than other people or other kids, because you don't have as much. And as much as people don't want to admit it, people are very judgmental of how you look. People will overlook you if you don't look as beautiful, or if you don't look as done up and have nicer clothes. So of course, I always felt, in comparison to other kids, and even still as an adult to other people, I've learned to start comparing myself to other people, what led me to a lot of misery in my life. And I'm pretty sure we all know comparison is the thief of joy, because you start to compare yourself like, well, they have these nice clothes and I don't. They have this nice hair and I don't. They have these shoes, I don't. They have these better school supplies and I do not. And sadly, even adults can be mean and pointed out as well, and be like, oh, you should ask your mom to, buy you some of this or buy you some of that. And it's like, you can understand kids saying things like that, but you think adults will understand, like, hey, not everyone is in a financial position to do so. So that's where a lot of my self-esteem had started to plummet, and I assumed that it was that way for a lot of people. You know, you can only be made fun of so long before it starts to affect your self-esteem and before it starts to make you feel really bad. So secondly is a lot of people who live in poverty have a hard time developing talents. Now, it's never impossible to develop talents despite being poor, not having, because there are a lot of people who were poor and still made the best of what they had. But a lot of it was, you know, we could not afford to take lessons. You can't afford to do sports. You can't afford to do music and other types of nice activities because there was very little money around. So all the money had to go towards bills and just surviving and getting by. So that led me to compare myself to other people, like, well, I'm not as talented, I'm not as good, because I never been taught how to, you know, play certain sports. I never been taught how to, you know, do those musical and dance lessons and ballet. I'm not as good as them. I'm lower than them. I'm not talented. And that's where it comes from, and that's something I'm still trying to heal from as an adult, because I feel like there's still a natural talent in all of us. We just have to find it and discover it, and you're never too old to try to hone the skill. So it can still be done, but as a kid and even as an adult, it still hurt. It still feels like, you know, I don't have anything special. I don't have trophies. I don't have medals. I don't have anything special. What do I have? And it causes you to compare again. And as an adult, I'm starting now to try to live my life and go on vacations and fun things, because as a kid we never got to do those fun things again, and that caused more comparison to other people, because I feel like, well, I'm not cultured, I never experienced things like them. They experience more, they're more smarter, they're more cultured than me. So I'm now learning to learn about different cultures at an older age. I'm traveling to different places. I traveled to Disney World for the first time last year, 25, and I was so happy because it's always been a dream place of mine to go, and I had never gotten to go before. So I was really excited to go and experience another state and experience another city and just get breath of fresh air. I'm now learning, you know, how to do writing and be creative, because I've always been creative, but I never felt like I could express my creativity. I never felt like I had a room to be creative, and I never got the chance to show how creative I could be as a child. So now I'm doing it now. So just telling you that if you went through feelings like that, or if you grew up in the same situation where you were poor and you felt like you could not do the things you wanted to do, or you feel like opportunities were taken from you because you grew up poor, it's okay, because a lot of us feel that way, especially a lot of us who grew up in poverty, and a lot of us are trying to, you know, get to a better place in our lives. It's okay if you feel that way, but don't compare yourself to other people, because everyone lives a different life, and that's something I had to learn. I mean, yeah, I'll be lying if I say I was never jealous of other people and be like, you know, how could they get this nice stuff? How they get all this? And, you know, my family, we had to struggle. It's not fair. It's not right. But, you know, everyone lives a different life, and sometimes you live a different life for a different reason. I do feel like because of my poverty, I do have different skills that's a little bit different than other people. You know, I do get worried and I still have flaws, but I feel like if money was to run low, yes, I'd be nervous, but I'd be like, you know what, we can make this stretch. I know how to get the best deals, and we can coupon and try to gift card things and try to survive. And it's okay to feel like you missed out, but what can be done is we can still keep honing our skills, find what you're good at, and still keep trying to hone what you're good at, and still try to live a good life now, because it's never too late, and you don't know what tomorrow is. So still try to live a good life, and still try to get therapy if you need it, and get help for your feelings. But we can still get a better life together. We all can get a better life, and save up to go somewhere small, even if it's just your next metro city over. If you live in Texas, try to go to Houston or something like that. Start small. It doesn't always have to be big. I started off very small, just going to the next metro city in my state. So just try to still live a good life, and it'll be okay, and we can make it. We can all make it. Times will be hard, and sometimes we'll fall, but it's okay. We can get back up, and we can still make it again. And that's my first video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll try to do better videos in the future, but I hope this helped somebody, and I hope this helped someone feel better and make them feel like they're not alone. I'll see you next time.